you see the fangs, you hear the growl, and your instinct is to like pull your hand away, right?
Yeah.
It's a primal
Yeah.
reaction. But then you step into the world of Tim Curry, and that instinct it's just entirely scrambled.
Absolutely.
We lost him recently on August 26th, 2026, at the age of 80. And looking back at his 5 decades on stage and screen, you realize he didn't just play villains. He played the uncontrollably, irresistibly appealing menace. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, he really did act like a gravitational pull.
Yeah.
He didn't chase the audience. He just sort of stood at the center of the room having more fun than anyone else and gave you permission to cross the line and join him.
Which is exactly what happens with his breakout role, right? As Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show back in 1975, you're watching it and you are hopelessly drawn in by that total lip-smacking sensual confidence.
Right. The secret weapon of that performance wasn't shock value. It was absolute liberation. He created a character so free that you couldn't help but want to be pulled into his orbit.
And that exact intoxicating energy, Ridley Scott actually saw that and realized it was precisely what he needed for the Lord of Darkness in his 1985 fantasy film Legend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't want a scary monster. He wanted the literal seduction of sin.
Which, okay, that sounds great in theory, but in reality,
Yeah.
Curry was entombed in heavy prosthetics for that movie.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, he endured 5.5 hours of makeup application every single day to become this giant red-horned demon.
Uh-huh.
How does a subtle acting choice even survive under all that latex?
Well, it's because he projected this Dionysian depth, this raw, chaotic celebration of indulgence and pleasure that entirely bypassed the costume. You don't see a guy in a rubber suit. You see an ancient, soulful entity.
But let me push back a little here, because projecting that level of outsized personality has to have a limit.
Mm-hmm.
I watch him playing Wadsworth the Butler in Clue, also in 1985, by the way, and part of me thinks, is he just chewing the scenery here?
Right, right.
Like, is he really a genius, or is he just the loudest guy in the room? Well, it's a fair question, but the genius is actually in the mechanics of his acting.
Yeah.
He had this brilliant internal calibration. If the script was absurd, he wouldn't play it as a joke. He would play it with deadly earnestness.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he anchored the absurdity in absolute commitment, which is what actually makes it funny. He never took a role more seriously than necessary, but he never gave it less than it required.
And that commitment, it took a massive physical toll. Like during the manic, breathless pacing of running around that mansion to explain the multiple endings in Clue, his blood pressure literally went through the roof.
Wow.
Yeah, he had to be treated by the company nurse just to finish the shoot.
A huge physical toll, exactly. But then look at how he strips all that theatricality away just a few years later.
Yeah.
As Pennywise the Dancing Clown in the 1990 miniseries Stephen King's Order, he completely ditches the allure. There's no seduction there.
Not at all. Just terror.
Right. He traumatized a generation using basically just grease paint and his own flexible facial expressions. It's pure, unadulterated nightmare fuel.
So given all these heavy, exhausting, and frankly terrifying roles, you would assume his personal favorite project might be, I don't know, a prestigious Shakespeare run.
You definitely think so.
But his actual favorite was playing Long John Silver in the 1996 film Muppet Treasure Island.
Which tells you everything you need to know about him as a performer.
Yeah.
He loved that set because, in his own words, there is a conspicuous lack of ego among the Muppets.
That's amazing.
He just wanted to do the work and have fun. He even sang his pirate songs live on set.
Wait, really? Live?
Yeah, that live performance was so effective it literally changed how director Brian Henson shot future Muppet films just to capture that same raw energy.
That lack of ego really speaks to his resilience later in life, too. Because after he suffered a massive stroke in 2012 that severely limited his mobility and speech, he didn't just fade away.
No, he really didn't.
He pivoted. He kept working in voice acting, giving us iconic characters like Nigel Thornberry, and he even published his memoir Vagabond in 2025.
He adapted, but he never lost that essential spark. He just found new ways to transmit that same charismatic energy to the audience.
It really makes you rethink how we hand out our cultural gold stars, you know? When we celebrate legendary actors, we almost always default to the traditional brooding, dramatic leads.
Right, the very serious roles.
But does Tim Curry's career prove that mastering camp and surviving heavy prosthetics and elevating genre fiction actually requires a far more rare and extraordinary raw talent?
That's a great point.
Think about that the next time you find yourself inexplicably wanting to step out of the light and join the monster in the shadows.